If you're considering a career in medicine, this show is for you. I'm going to be talking to a variety of healthcare professionals who are going to share the reality of what it takes to have a successful career in medicine. The good, the bad, the inspiring, the funny. My name is Michelle Nesky. I'm a physician assistant and your host, about to bring you Beyond the Scope. If you've done research into applying to physician assistant school, you know how crazy it is with all the different requirements, programs out there, and how do you choose which one is best for you? Well, luckily, two of my friends and PAs created an amazing platform that you can do this all in one place called My PA Box. Research schools by state, track your hours, look up all the requirements, literally in one spot at mypabox.com. You can also use their PA school match to enter in all your demographic information, your GPA, whether or not you took the GRE or PA CAT, and filter for schools that would be the best fit for you. You guys, this has been game changing for pre-PAs, and I use it all the time with my clients. You can go ahead and get a 1-year subscription. And because you're listening to this podcast, if you use Posh PA 15, you can get 15% off your 1-year subscription. You will not regret this. If you are a pre-PA, it will sort things out so much for you and just make it easier to do the research on the programs that are the best fit for you. So check them out, mypabox.com. Hey everybody, it's Michelle Nesky, the Posh PA, your host of the Beyond the Scope podcast. I'm going to take this out and do one of these right now. If you can see me on video, I'm definitely taking the microphone out because I'm not sitting in front of this. So hi, I'm recording this on Zoom because I've had a hard time with Google Meet with some of the audio and visual. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and say, first of all, thank you for listening to Beyond the Scope for the last 2 seasons. And this is my first solo episode. And part of the reason I'm doing the solo episode is to share with you a little bit more specifics about my own journey to becoming a PA, specifically an oncology PA. I get asked a lot of questions about this on a daily basis. And I thought just coming on and talking a little bit about that might help. And so, as many of you know, I graduated from the Yale PA program in 2005. I initially started working as a hospitalist PA at Yale New Haven Hospital in 2005. I worked there for just under a year before Dave graduated from medical school. We got married and moved to Miami. And so we moved to Miami. I got a job working at the University of Miami in the hepatology clinic. I was hired to work with one specific doctor. It was actually quite terrible experience. I apologize if that doctor's listening. Like, sorry, not sorry, but it was horrible. I never actually got credentialed at that hospital because there was so much red tape. And soon after, like literally 8 weeks after I started, he's like, by the way, I'm leaving. I'm going to Orlando. So I was like, I got a piece out of this job like yesterday. So I started looking for jobs and came upon a listing for an oncology PA at a private hospital in Miami Beach. And at the time, it was more of a private cancer center attached to a hospital in Miami Beach. And it was for medical oncology PA for 4 medical hematologist oncologists. It was a community oncology practice. And so what that means is they saw everything. So like anything from anemia to lung cancer to lymphoma, they saw it all. And before I accepted this position, I went and I spent a half a day there and made sure that they really understood what I might be doing there. And I just wanted to meet the people, like catch the vibe, right? Because like when you go for the interview, anybody can be like, oh, it's amazing here. It's so wonderful. And then you show up and they're like, we hate that guy. He's the worst, right? So I just wanted to make sure that this was a place that I felt like I could be successful. And so sure enough, I did that. I loved it. And I wound up working there for 4 years and predominantly was mentored by one physician who primarily does lung cancer. And we are still friends today and really kind of took me under his wing and showed me, how to take care of cancer patients, even though the others also were amazing. I had the opportunity to do inpatient and outpatient and consults and be on call and all of that different kind of stuff. When Dave got his fellowship opportunity in Houston, we moved and I worked at MD Anderson. I did specifically only head and neck and thoracic medical oncology. This was an amazing opportunity. To work in a very, very highly specialized area, doing what I loved, and even had more opportunity to grow as a PA and professional. So everybody talks about lateral mobility as a PA. And in this particular position, there was so much upward mobility that the reason why the term lateral mobility makes me insane is because there is upward mobility. And so while there is lateral mobility, and that's true, there's also upward mobility. And I don't want people to forget that. And so that's why I kind of get persnickety. Did I just show my age? Persnickety about that term. But I was a supervisor. I was the president of the Association of PAs in Oncology. I got nominated for a PA of the Year award. There were so many amazing things that happened to me when I was there, but my work was all I had at that time because Dave was working 24/7 in his fellowship. And, I made some great friends in Houston. I never took advantage of spending more time with them, which I should have, and ultimately burned myself out because I was working so much that I felt that I didn't have anything left to give. And the minute I knew I didn't have anything left to give was when I was in a room with a patient. And I'm not embarrassed by this. I mean, I'm sorry about it, but I'm not embarrassed by it because I feel like you should know this. I was in a room with a patient and it was bad news. And so, gave the bad news and they were upset. And I literally looked at my watch and was like, how much longer is this going to be? And at that moment, I realized that I was not the same person and or provider that I ever intended to be. And I think that it took that moment for me to realize that I needed to take a moment and that this was maybe not a good place in my life. And that I needed to take a very good hard look at my life and what I wanted, what kind of person I wanted to be, what kind of provider I wanted to be. And I get a little emotional because it's not like a bright spot in your life, right? It's not a bright spot. It's not a spot where you're like, this is my finest. It's your darkest moment. You're like, I have compassion fatigue. I have nothing left to offer these people. I'm miserable. And it's just a moment that I had. I think that in medicine, you are groomed, and I think in a lot of professions, not just medicine, you are groomed to go to the next level, go to the next level, go to the next level. That's what's expected. That's what you should do. And then you get to the next level and you look at a patient, and that's what happens. And you're like, why did I do this in the first place? What am I doing? Why did I do this? um, and so I think it's really important I can see that now. Okay. So back then, I was aware. I was aware and I felt it. But I didn't realize the full impact of it. And what I mean by that was this was something that, yes, I created, but it was also something that the culture created, around from the time I was, in school, in college, or even in PA school, or even in clinical rotations, is that everyone else's time is more valuable than yours. So bring it and be quiet. And that is the old school sort of mindset. Work hard, work harder. and get to that point. And then you get to the point and you're like, what did I do here? And it's hard for some younger people to understand that, but just know that it may happen and don't be embarrassed. Um, it's a time for growth and learning. And I'll tell you this, I moved to Charleston. I had my baby. She was a very difficult child, a baby, had a milk intolerance, screamed. I never expected to have a colicky baby. I was already anxious enough that I had a baby at 36. Um, Uprooted my entire existence, questioned what I was doing. Um, I had a lot of postpartum depression and anxiety, and very specifically, and I've said this on Jake's podcast, um, Destination Healthcare, very specifically woke up one morning, went to go get my haircut, was so anxious. I felt like I was going to throw up, came back, called Dave and said, admit me to the hospital. I can't do this. And that was a culmination of a lot of things. This is not going to happen to you necessarily. I'm just sharing my story. This was a culmination of moving, having a baby, being burned out from my job, and having multiple life changes happen to me at one time, moving to a city where I knew no one or nothing, and having a husband who had to work to provide insurance for us and his new baby. And it was a very, very difficult time in my life, a very difficult season. The one thing that I did was I got help immediately. Immediately. Um, I always felt a stigma about taking antidepressants. I was like, give me the drugs. I cannot feel like this. I cannot be like this. I have to be a mom. I have to be a wife. I have to be functional. This is not me. This is not who I am. And it took me a long time and a lot of therapy to get back. And when I finally started feeling myself again was at the moment where I said, things have to change for me. Things have to change for my daughter. Things have to change for my marriage. Things have to change for my patients. Um, I need to find my own joy and my own value. And sure enough, I was able to go back to work part time slowly. And at the same time, connected, on multiple levels with my best friends and my family and used them as support. I'm not somebody that normally asks for help. If you're an Enneagram 8 with a 7 wing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not somebody that likes to ask for help. I'm somebody that likes to give my opinions and do things on my own. I had to subject to help, and it was the best thing I could have ever done. And I'll tell you this, all of that, all the reason why I say this today is because you need to be able to find yourself in any career that you choose. I love being a PA. And part of the reason I love that is because within my career as a PA, I have also been able to find myself. Yes, it took life events. Yes, it took time for me to come away from the medical profession to really understand what that meant. But it also meant having the flexibility to work part-time. It also meant the flexibility for me to learn and find people like you who have supported me and allowed me to be part of your journey and process, to educate other people about this profession, to share my own experiences in hopes that it inspires you in some way or another, to be able to connect with my patients on a different level, to be able to provide better care for them because I am a better person, to be able to be a better mom because I'm a better me, to be able to be a better wife, daughter, sister, friend because I'm a better me. You have to find yourself and your place in your profession, whatever you choose to do. Don't give up everything that's important to you for your job. The most important thing is that when I leave my clinic, is that I feel like I made an impact on someone, and that when I come home, I have quality time with my kid and my husband, and that when I put my head on the pillow, at the end of the day, I felt like I was a good person. I am a good person, and I'm trying to do the best I can to be fulfilled both as a person, a mother, a wife, and a PA. And if you can do that, you'll be, well, even if you can't and you struggle like I did, you'll be successful, I promise. This went on a different tangent than I thought it might, so I'll probably do another solo episode just specifically about my oncology trajectory. But I just felt it was important for me to share with you the important lessons that I have learned over the last 16 years and hopefully can give you some perspective. For those of you who are thinking about entering this profession, are trying to enter this profession, are extremely flustered, frustrated, thinking you're never going to make it, you need to talk to me, because I need to know what's going on with you before I can say this is for you or this is not for you. The best way to do that is to text me, 843-890-2579. You can book an appointment with me on my website. You can do any of those things. But, I don't, when people text me or message me and they say, I think I'm too young for this, I think I'm too old for this, I think that there is nothing that can get in your way if you have drive, if you have vision, if you have purpose. Anything is possible, y'all. Anything is possible. Who else loves that? I friggin' love it. I feel like I want to put it on a t-shirt, but the only person who would wear it would be me. Would you wear it? Anyway, thank you guys so much. I'm definitely going to elaborate more on my specific oncology experience in a different episode. This one just got away from me a little bit because I got very enthusiastic about holding a microphone. But I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you and you following me on Instagram, TikTok, all the places, the Posh PA. You've been so supportive. You make it possible for me to be here, and I thank you so much.